Hello, we are at Giga-Bites Cafe in Atlanta, Georgia. This is going to be my last video battle report in Giga-Bites for quite a while because I am moving to San Francisco, so I'll probably be playing at Bay Area stores for the next foreseeable future. But we wanted to have one last game day here before I move, so here we go. We've got Will, he's going to play Scourge, Brian is playing his Shaltari, I'm playing a Resistance bike list, which should be pretty fun. I've never played it before, I might not be very good at it. We've designed a custom 3-person scenario, so we have a deployment in this corner, deployment in this corner, deployment on that edge, and we have spaced 3 objectives so that each one's between 2 different players. There's a focal point in the middle, and there's a focal point in front of each player. Just quick review. An objective is worth 1 point if you control it at the end of the game. It's worth 2 points if you get it all the way off the board. Focal points are worth 1 point if you contest it. 1 point to each player who contests it. And the player at the end of the game who has the most ground units worth of points near it gets 1 additional point. We will be back in a second with our army lists. Alright, here is my Resistance bike list. I have 2 breaching drills, Thunderstorm Custom, and then 2 squads of free riders, 1 of 3, 1 of 2, squad of gun wagons and a Kraken, 3 Jackson APCs, we've got 2 squads of Resistance fighters, 1 squad of sappers, and they're in the lift hawk with the AA, and then attack ATVs, 3 of them, a heavy group with 2 Zhukovs and a lift hawk with the AA, and a group with 2 Berserkers in battle buses in a Kraken, and 2 scout ATVs.
The Scourge Army today is a fairly lightweight one, starting with the command group, which is more of a terror weapon than anything, but very good at taking out anti-air. Second, we have the main Armour, basically 3 Slayers and a bunch of Slayers are there, I'm sorry. But mostly light tanks. They are brought in by transport marauders. For our troops, we have 1 airborne troop with has 2 invaders, and then
drive-on.
And then in our drive-ons, we have another group of warriors, and then the Slayers with some more anti-air. Last but not least is a air group, which is made of 2 Corsairs.
All right, so fairly gate heavy. So I've got 3 Havens, 2 Spirits, 3 Edens, 1 Gaia, and then my command battle group is going to be a Gorilla and 2 Caimans.
Good God.
Yeah. Then my armor group is just the 2 Tarantulas. Infantry battle group with 2 sets of Braves and some Kukris. Another infantry battle group, Braves and Kukris. Those look surprisingly like Ronin. Actually, they're samurai, so we're doing a bit of proxying. So we're basically just going to try to test out the samurai and see how they work out.
Alright, start of turn 1, Will won the roll-off, elected to go 3rd. I got 2nd in the roll-off, elected to go 2nd, and Brian will be going 1st. We'll be back in a second with the cards. Start of turn 1, nobody played any cards.
Alright, so I brought an infantry battle group, deployed some Havens, and then jumped some Braves into here, and then deployed an Eden and brought in some Kukris over here.
Okay, I activated my gun wagons and moved them on here, kept them inside the Kraken. The Kraken fired at the building, did 2 damage, no flying masonry. Also, I rolled for my drills, and neither one came out of reserve.
Again, the Scourge has not done much impressive this first round. It came in the normal 3-inch move, and of course somewhere on the board.
And the Corsairs?
And the Corsairs did not come in this turn. They're still hanging out somewhere.
Alright, so I brought in a 2nd infantry battle group, some Spirits, and then deployed some Braves. Then another Eden and deployed some more Kukris.
Okay, I brought on my Zhukovs, dropped them off here, and the dropship shot everything at the building, did 1 damage, 1 falling masonry, but they're Shaltari, so they didn't take any casualties at all.
Second group of drive-ons for the Shaltari, brought in some anti-air and some Slayers. Unfortunately out of range to be able to do anything fun at this point.
Alright, so I brought in my armor group using the Gaia Heavy Gate, brought in these two tarantulas.
Alright, I activated my command group, brought on the Thunderstorm Custom 6 inches, shot his building there, did 8 damage, and killed 2 Braves, 1 in each squad. Brian's getting the damage markers right now. I've also got the Free Riders in that group, but they're subterranean right now. Probably a bad tactical choice on my part. The board is so small with so many units that there's really no point putting them in the drill, but I've never played this list before, so I didn't know any better. Anyway.
Alright, finally got some Scourge armor on the board. Came up and deployed both my main battle tanks and some more anti-air.
Alright, so I brought in the command battle group with the Caymans and the Gorille. They shuffled on in and they fired at the hovercraft, which has got cover from this building. And I managed to do, I believe, 4 points of damage total.
Yep, that's right. Okay, I activated my infantry group, put 2 squads of resistance fighters and the sappers inside, and the transport fired everything at the building, didn't do any damage at all.
Alright, finally brought in some of my infantry. Decided to see what the resistance are made of. Brought in intruders, jumped in. We shall start shooting next round.
Alright, so I activated my special battle group, which is basic, and I assigned a Haven to it. The Haven drove in, and the samurai that are with it are still dematerialized.
Alright, activated my scout group. The Berserkers went in full here. I didn't have room for the buses because of my poor positioning here with the Zukobs and the Jacksons, so another mistake on my part. But they're there. They'll come in start fighting on turn 3, I guess. Hopefully that's okay. And then the Scout ATVs are in that group, and they're also subterranean, so they're not on yet.
Finally, we got the command unit on. The spoiler coming up the middle, which they often do. The Raider is about ready to challenge some Shaltari, and vampires are out looking for victims.
All right, start of turn 2. Will is going first, Brian's going second, I'm going third. The Corsairs did not come out of reserve, the drills did. Here they are. You normally put drills on like the back side of the table. There's really no safe space on this table. It's just full of death everywhere, so I'm putting the drills kind of on my side. Nobody played any cards either.
Alright, started off with the command group. The Desolator kind of came into the middle of things. Very, very unsuccessful attempt to discourage the Shaltari from staking around inside. Only damaged 1 out of 10 hits.
The Flamer, yeah, Flamer killed 1 Brave.
And the Vampires, though, did very well. They removed 1 of his 2 flying personnel gates, so that should make this Shaltari a little sore. Not much, but a little.
Alright, so I activated the command battle group. The Gorille just slid a little bit closer to this building, and the dude came in, slid over, fired at the command hovercraft, and took it out.
Exactly 5 damage. And then from my point here, the Caymans, there wasn't a whole lot of cover on my side of the board, but even then, like, another mistake here, just positioning-wise. I had to move the Thunderstorm over there because there's no space, and I didn't plan for this giant hovercraft in my deployment. I just haven't played this list before, and it's totally screwing up my deployment in this game. So I put it there. It had cover, but since he won initiative this turn, he just blew it up. So that's the... All right, activated my heavy group. Zukobs moved up. Unfortunately, only 1 of them could get around the corner, so I fired at the Desolator, did 2 damage. The hull-mounted gun here and the rest of this just fired at this. Didn't kill any Braves, but did like 4 more damage to the building. And the Lift Hawk went over here and shot at a, whatever those are called, and didn't kill it.
Alright, this time the Armour decided to bring it to the Shaltari. We took out another one of the gates, but the Reapers, the Hunters had a pretty good time against his Kukris. The only one that can shoot back at me is the one I missed.
Yep, he had no skimmer bonus because they got out of the transport last turn, so he had really good odds.
Yep. Alright, the Plasma Hose did minimal damage to the building, nothing to the Braves within.
Alright, so the Braves that were in here searched for the objectives, found it. 1 unit dematerialized, took the objective with them, got into the Haven, then dematerialized into the Eden and left the board. Then the other unit dematerialized through this Haven, and then it just moved out here.
And then the Kukris?
Right, then the Kukris came over here, took out 3 of the 4 vampires.
All right, activated my gun wagons. Another positioning mistake here. I blocked my Kraken in with the Zukov, so it could only get to there. So the gun wagons could only make it to there, and they were about 1 inch short, so they didn't get to shoot anything this turn. The hull-mounted gun fired at the building there, did no damage, so that's it.
Moved up my heavy armor this round and took the pot shot at my favorite target in the game so far, the Shaltari Braves. Did manage to get another one.
10 damage to the building, though.
10 damage to the building.
Alright, so I activated my armor battle group. The tarantulas moved up, fired into this mass of, I guess they're hunters. Managed to kill one. So.
Alright, I activated my battle bus group, put the berserkers in this incredibly crowded building. The Kraken fired its gun at there, did 2 damage to the building, but didn't kill any Braves. And then the scout ATVs came out of the drill here and just hanging out behind that building, trying not to get shot.
Alright, this time we activated my infantry. Turn basically involved me getting out of the way of the anti-air here, tempting fate with a 1 and a 2 and 2 2s, but they did make it.
And there's no CQB yet because he's the aggressor and I'm the occupier.
Alright, so I activated my 2nd Infantry Battle Group, did a call for extraction, brought in a Spirit, I had the 2 squads in here do search. They found the objective.
Again?
Yeah, they gated out, so the objective is hanging on the Spirit. Then this brave stand decided to take some pot shots at the Screamer and his transport and managed to do nothing. And then the Kukri, that was the sole surviving Kukri, just scooted over here, took out that final vampire.
Alright, I activated my command group, brought a unit of free riders out of that tower.
Okay, my Greyhound transport here has got 9 inches closer to its objective.
Alright, so I activated my special battle group, assigned the Haven to it, and I just moved the Haven up.
Great, I activated my infantry battle group. I decided not to allocate my sappers to repel because I already had 2 squads that could repel. They fought it out with the warriors. He killed 8 of them, 4 of them. I killed 6 of those and 5 of those. Then he failed his morale check and ran. I passed my morale check. I did not find the objective. The sappers went to the edge of the building here, fired their demolition IED at this building, did 8 damage to it, killed 2 Braves, so that base is gone. And then the Lift Hawk came over here, picked up all 3 Jacksons, moved over there. And I also have my attack ATVs in this battle group, but I'm out of drills to deploy them from, so they're still some training. Start of turn 3, we rolled for initiative. I got last. Brian and Will were going to tie and re-roll. However, Brian played a Central HQ directive, so they re-rolled. He won, and then Will played a Central HQ directive, but Brian espionaged it. So it stays Brian first, then Will, then me. He field repaired his Desolator, so it only has 1 damage now. And both the Corsairs and the Eden Gate all came out of reserve.
Alright, so not surprisingly, I activated this infantry battle group. I had the Braves that were in here dematerialize. They got into the Spirit. And the Spirit hauled all the way here, carrying the objective. And then the sole surviving Kukri whipped around here, took some shots at the Desolator, damaged it for 1 point.
Alright, this time I activated my armor in an attempt to see how many 1s I could roll consecutively. Very little damage done to the Shaltari for the effort. One
tarantula down, 1 damage, 2 damage on the gate. That's it, right?
That was it. Flat out missed.
Alright, I activated my berserkers. So the scout ATVs over here moved over here, and they jammed up that front Cayman. So the Cayman has to hit on 6s for everything. Then the berserkers activated here for the CQB. So that started the CQB for all these squads, and we just murdered those 5 guys there. I took 2 more casualties, and the buses drove around there, and the Kraken went over here and shot his invader and didn't damage him. Just missed him.
I was counting.
Alright, so I activated my armor group, moved the tarantula a bit closer, fired at one of the skimmers here, did nothing.
And my drive-on heavy armor finally got almost into the fray. The Reapers couldn't quite get there, but the Hunters did in fact fire on the lone Kukri over here, which vaporized.
Alright, I activated my Zukovs. They moved 2 inches this way, and they shot the Desolator, which was over there. One of them hit and rolled a double, which is 4 points of damage, so that finished the Desolator off. The Lift Hawk is over there, moved up, blew up one of those intruders. I think that's about it.
Alright, so I activated my infantry battle group, assigned the gate to it, and then these havens as well. And I brought in this stand of infantry and this stand of infantry to occupy this building, which is a focal point. I also played secret entrance, so these guys could deploy further away from the building and get in. Then these kukri shuffled along. This is the only one that had a clear line of shot, put 2 points of damage. And these two have not fired, so they're available for any reaction fire, so hopefully later on this turn.
Alrighty, my lost squadron here, troops have decided to occupy this focal point. That's the end of that segment.
Activated my gun wagons. They drove up, blew up the gate that was there. Their hovercraft shot this building with all his Braves in it, did no damage.
Alright, so I activated my command battle group, had the Caymans whoop around here. This one that's been destabilized by the scout ATV fired on the building.
Smart, because that means he's still hitting on 2s, I think, so ignores that.
Managed to damage some of the berserkers with some falling masonry.
Killed 2 berserkers and did 5 damage.
Then I had this Cayman fire over to here, killed one of the tanks. Then the Gorilla came in and killed another tank.
I also activated what's left of my command group. Basically just moved them up and shot the flamer in. Finished off one of the bases of the Braves that was in there.
Alright, I activated my sappers in my infantry group here. Found the objective. Sappers shot out the window, shot their cluster IEDs over in this group. Unfortunately, all I managed to do was hurt his commander for 1. Could have gone better. The Jackson got dropped off here, and I've positioned my lift hawk ready to evacuate him as fast as possible. And then, what am I forgetting? Yeah, that's. Oh no, it fired at the building, did 2 damage, and killed 1 Brave. And my attack ATVs came out of the drill.
Alright, so I activated my special battle group. I assigned all these gates to it, as well as this haven. Flushed it all around this one spirit, then moved this haven forward, and then popped out and moved my samurai.
Alright, this time my little intruder decided to do a suicide run and successfully took out his Jackson.
Got lucky, took out the Jackson.
Yeah, got lucky and very happy, but then his troops got even luckier and just walked out. So they are still holding the objective.
Yep, and your infantry.
The infantry went into the building just so they weren't standing out there ready to be shot.
Alright, activated my command group. These free riders ran up here and stuck a bunch of sticky mines on the haven and rolled terribly, and only did 1 damage to it. And then these free riders came out there. So the free riders are coming over this.
Alright, we finally attempted to bring the Corsairs in. Only 1 was in the area. Came in, took a shot, missed completely, and then immediately got incinerated by the gates.
Yeah, had 8 charged atmosphere shots, and he died. Start of turn 4, amazingly, Will won the roll-off with a CV of 1. I got second with also with a CV of 1, and Brian's going last. Nobody played any cards, no reserves, we're good.
Alright, just to make sure that there wasn't a fluke, we tried the same run again. This time I actually did hit the gate, but it was saved by a passive, at which point I once again flew in and was totally obliterated, incinerated, and everything by the gates.
The charged atmosphere. Alright, activated my command group, so all 5 free riders came in and just bunched around the Cayman. You can see a Cayman-shaped hole there. They did 11 damage worth of sticky bomb attacks. Cayman is gone.
Alright, so I activated my special battle group. Had the samurai charge forward, attack these tanks.
With their energy swords.
That's right. Attacked them with their energy swords, and they managed to do nothing. I also assigned the spirit that had the objective to the battle group, and it hit off the board with the objective, so another 2 points for me.
Well, after the dastardly attack by the samurai, which failed against my hunters, they retaliated, took out 2 of them with the hunters, and then they retreated. Before the Reapers took off, they just took shots at it, missed all. So at that point, I moved up the Marauders, the transports, and just took 3 more pot shots, and 1 of them actually hit. So we did eliminate all 3 of the nasty samurais.
Alright, activated my infantry group. The infantry were hanging out here in the open, got in the building. I dropped another Jackson. The more healthy squad got into the Jackson. I fired the anti-air at the Corsair, intruder. Didn't kill it. I passed the objective onto the sappers. Sappers fired the anti-tank IED at the Cayman, did nothing. And then the attack ATVs, which are also in that group, fired 7 chem tokens into the central building and moved slightly over here.
Alright, so I activated my infantry battle group, had my Braves and my Havens attack these free riders and managed to kill 2 dudes in this single base. And then over here, I had these guys go to the wall and managed to kill 1 dude over here.
And I should point out that he just used Charged Earth in a game of Dropzone Commander. I think it's the second time I've ever seen that used as a real attack.
Yeah.
That had a chance to damage somebody.
Then I had my Kukris whip around and take out this aerial monstrosity.
Yep.
Basically, the Screamer just came up to annoy this building here.
So I activated my Zukovs. They shot some ground targets. I blew up a Haven and a Kukri. I moved forward 2 inches. That's about it.
And the groups are getting smaller.
Yeah. So I activated my armor group, had the Tarantula swing around here, take a shot at this guy. All I managed to do 1 point of damage to him.
From the laser. The McGrath cannon missed.
Alright, the Slayers came around and finally got rid of that last Tarantula. And then I moved up my other Reapers just to get them back in with the rest of the battle group.
Alright, activated my gun wagons. They moved over here, blew up this back Marauder and damaged this Marauder for 1. Then the Kraken moved up here, fired its gun, and killed a Kukri.
So I activated my 2nd infantry battle group and I assigned this Haven to it, and then I tried to do a call for extraction, but William did an espionage, so I didn't get it. Moved this Haven around here, dematerialized these Braves, and then attacked this lead group of free riders that did nothing.
Charged Earth again.
Alright, this time we activated the infantry group. They took a shot at the
Lift
hawk and it failed. The intruder once again shot at the Jackson, this time not only destroying the Jackson, but getting everything
Rolled a
inside.
6 on the damage table, so all those infantry are now dead, which really sucks.
And then I ran away, because that's the better part of valor.
Alright, activated my Berserkers. They got in their buses, and the buses drove forward. And activated the Scout ATVs, and they moved there.
Alright, so I activated my command group, swung the Cayman out, it zapped the Zukov very decisively, and then the Guerrilla whipped around and microwaved a base of free riders.
Alrighty, activated my last infantry group, tried to get my transport out of the way, he's still in the open, then fired with their weapons out and took out 1 base of the ATVs.
Alright, here's the roundup phase of turn 4. Had 7 chem tokens in the building, 3 of them dissipated, and I did 3 damage to Braves, and it randomized in just the perfect way that I got rid of those 2 bases that were damaged, so we just have the 1 left. Start of turn 5, I have amazingly won the roll-off, and Brian's 2nd, and then Will is 3rd. Nobody played any cards, and the Spirit Gate that had gone off the table for Brian did not. Activated my free riders, went and shot the Gariel. I didn't roll nearly as well as I did last time, but I did manage to do 2 damage, so it's down to 1 damage.
So I activated my command battle group, moved the Cayman around in the Guerrilla, attacked his free riders, managed to kill 1 dude here, 1 dude here, and 1 dude here.
7 free riders left.
Yep.
Alright, this was the adventure to get rid of the last remaining Kukri there, and threw everything at him and managed to finally get him with the last shot.
Alright, activated my infantry group. The sappers went and got into the drill and moved the objective off the table, so that is now off the table and alive. These guys just stayed inside the building. The Jackson moved up, shot the building, did some damage. The Lift Hawk moved up, tried to kill that with its AA, failed again, and then shot the building with everything else, did 2 damage, and killed a Brave.
Alright, so I activated my infantry battle group over here. They fired at these free riders that did nothing.
Alright, activated the heavy infantry, was actually going for the Guile, but cannot do it, so I took a shot at the Cayman, missed. Took a shot at the riders and actually hit, but then we couldn't reach their horrible
roll a 1.
Yeah, which is a joke. And then just moved up the rest of the Reaper.
My gun wagons went, they shot this Marauder, did 2 damage, moved over here behind the building. The Kraken shot his Haven, hit it, but he made the passive save.
Alright, activated the infantry, finally got my intruder head, took out 1 base with the infantry firing against the lawnmower there.
Alright, my Berserker buses moved up a bit because they're still full of chemicals. I decided not to embark them yet. And my Scout ATVs moved up to here and jammed up his Gariel, so it's hitting on 6s with everything.
Activated the last of the infantry, took a pot shot at the lift hawk, did do 2 damage. And then the intruder, before flying off to safety, took a shot at the bus and did 2 damage on it as well.
Activated my Zukov, moved forward 2 inches. Unfortunately, still out of range of the Cayman. Shot the Haven, and I didn't damage it. Didn't roll high enough with the armor. And then the Lift Hawk killed 2 infantry in there with all of its guns, then moved out of range so it can get small arms fired in. All right, turn 5 roundup phase. We had 4 chem tokens here. I rolled 3 3s, which do nothing, and 1 2, so it dissipated. Infantry take no damage. We're down to 3 chem tokens. And here I rolled a 5 and a 6, so I hit the infantry for 2, and they had to take a fortitude check, which they failed. And they're sitting in this invader now and not in the building anymore. Start of turn 6. Brian won the initiative roll-off, finally. I got 2nd. Will got 3rd. Brian unfortunately repaired his Gariel, so it now has 2 life left, so it's harder to kill. I played Supercharged over here, so all my wagons get 3 extra inches of movement. I don't even know if that's going to matter for anything. And my Sappers did not come out of reserve, and the Spirit Gate did. That's it.
Alright, so I activated my command battle group, and I went ahead and played Eldritch Energies.
Which is now a flame weapon.
On the Cayman, and managed to wipe out 1 base with it. And then between the Havens and everyone else, I managed to kill 1 more dude over here. So slowly but surely whittling those free riders down.
Alright, activated my attack ATVs. They pumped 3 more chem grenades in there and moved behind the building. This guy stayed still. The Jackson shot the building for 2 damage, although no falling masonry. And this guy came up here and tried to shoot the Marauder with its AA gun, missed. And shot the building and also missed.
Moved my Screamer up to be near the focal point.
Alright, I activated this infantry battle group. They shot at these free riders again and did nothing.
Alright, activated my free riders, went up to the Gariel. I didn't have much of a chance here, but I got 2 hits. He only saved 1 of them. My last shot, I rolled a 6, double damage, killed the Gariel with Sticky Bomb.
Ganged up on his bus over here and got the bus, and all the berserkers are running loose in the streets. Attempted shots at the ATVs and missed everything over here.
Alright, so I activated my infantry battle group, brought in the Spirit from reserve, popped in their last remaining base of dematerialized Braves. Then the group that was already here in the building fired at his free riders, managed to kill 1 base.
Alright, activated my gun wagons. They drove around here and shot down his 2 Marauders. And one of them crashed onto a Hunter and killed it too.
My turn took some useless pot shots at the Cayman, nothing.
Missed everything.
And then I just moved up to get to the focal point with the rest of my Reapers.
Alright, Zukov tried to shoot the building with its hull-mounted cannon and missed the building. And its Lift Hawk tried to shoot through that last guy who's standing in the window and missed him with everything.
Carrying on our feudal ways, did take a shot at the Berserkers from this infantry and got 2 hits. But then with a bunch of hits, could not do a single thing off the intruder, so they're safe.
Alright, my Scout ATVs just went and hugged the focal point, and then the last Berserkers got out here, and I'm hoping that they're 6 inches away from the Screamer so that they still count for full points, but we'll see.
Alrighty. Not wanting to go in and get chem grenaded, I also just decided to hug the building here and just get near the focal point.
Cool. And then the roundup phase of turn 6, the chem grenades actually killed off the last Shaltari Braves. So I don't believe Brian is contesting that focal point anymore.
Nope.
Might be interesting. All right, end of the game. We'll go through each objective. I got 1 objective off the board with my Sappers. That's 2 points for me. Brian got 2 objectives off the board with his Braves, so that is 4 points for him. Then let's go through Brian's stuff. Brian won this focal point, so he had 4, so now he's at 6. Brian did not contest this focal point because we killed his Brave at the very last action of the game. And that's it. So Brian had 6 points. Yeah. 2 from the focal point, 4 from the objectives. For mine, I had 2 points from the objective. I won that focal point with my drill, so that is 4. And I actually won the center focal point with this massive stuff over here, so that's 6. And then I contested this focal point with my free rider, so that's 7. And I contested that one with my attack ATVs, so that's 8. And then for Will, he won this one, so that's 2. He contested this one for 3, and then his Slayers contested this one for 4. So final score is Brian 6, Cameron 8, and Will 4. I had a really fun time. I'm happy this was our final game before I head off to San Francisco. So thanks for playing with me, Ed. Appreciate it.
Enjoyed it, sir.
I made a huge mistake on the first turn throwing my hovercraft out here, and in general made massive deployment mistakes just all over the map. I just kept, first turn, I felt like I just kept talking about how bad my deployment was and how I couldn't move the guys where I needed to. But eventually, I think what turned the tide was a little bit of those chem grenades killing stuff in the middle building, and then those 5 bases of free riders just rampaging down here through all the Shaltari and killing and pushing him off the objectives. That ended up being really effective. And the guns he had to kill them were on the Gariel. He fried one base that way, but then afterwards I managed to get the scout ATVs to jam up its weapons and stop that. And then Will took out the Samurai so that he couldn't use those flamers. And the rest of his weapons weren't as efficient at killing them, so he just had a tough time killing the free riders. I didn't fight you too much other than the CQB over here and your Desolator. That's about it. How about you? What's your debrief?
Well, it was very much contested on the Armour over here, and we just bashed the little daylights out of each other, so we didn't have much left on the board at the end, so it was very hard to hold the focal points. So I felt lucky to have one that I had actually won. Well, I actually didn't.
No, you won that
I
one.
won that one, yeah. But it was a very, very close game.
Brian?
Getting into the both objectives very early on was going to make me a target pretty quickly. So I got a good lead, but after that things went downhill pretty badly. I was really going to only try to test just the center focal point and this one back here. Those camera rounds from the attack ATVs are brutal.
Especially against parades.
Yeah.
You have 3 guys per base.
Yeah, that is horrible. And then the free riders, they're always a pain in the ass because they're fast and it's very difficult to kill them. It's volume of fire, and if you're only putting out a couple of shots per unit, it's very difficult.
Yeah, I didn't realize how good of a combo the scout ATVs would be with the free riders, because typically there's only a couple weapons, like specialty weapons in the enemy army, that can hurt the free riders to begin with in any sort of efficient manner. So if you can take the scout ATVs and just shut down those weapons, the free riders can just rampage through the rest of the army. I was just trying to test out all the different bike units in one army and throw the sappers in there and throw all the new stuff in one list. So I didn't even intend that, but I just sort of accidentally discovered that that's really effective. So I'll probably keep doing that in the future. Yeah, I got to work on the positioning with this army. That turn 1 was pretty fail.
Yeah, that was something else too. I had the last surviving commander on the board, and that did not help me at all.
I know, you rolled so bad on initiative.
I rolled bad on all the initiative rolls. Being able to take out the command hovercraft, I thought was going to give me a big advantage against Cameron, and it didn't at all.
I mean, just yeah.
Yeah.
I was really worried. I didn't quite realize how damaging those free riders were going to be.
Yeah, they were brutal.
And I think also we, in the mid game, definitely ganged up on you because we thought you had such a huge lead. It was really kind of 2-on-1 for a couple turns.
Yeah, there was that too. There's that when you get 4 victory points on, by the end of turn 2 or turn 3. It's like, okay. Who's gonna be taking all the fire.
I feel like you won the tactical game but lost the diplomatic game in the 3-way. That's always part of it. It's like who gangs up on who, and that kind of determines the winner sometimes.
That's the worst clean out of Armour I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
This is the dead pile.
I don't think I've ever killed a Shaltari commander. Now, given the Gariel's a little easier to kill than the Coyote, but still, 4-up passive and skimmer and all that, it's pretty hard to take out. So
right.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks for the game, guys. Appreciate it. And I'll still be making battle reports. I got to go move, so I might be offline for a couple weeks. But don't worry, this channel's not going away. There will be more battle reports in the future.